Sophie, and this is the story of my adventures in the Mysterious Mansion. Tuesday, January 2nd, 2004 was the day it all started. I was looking at a picture from my childhood. I saw my sister Jane, my Aunt Lorenza, my Uncle Bryce, my Mama Souza, and my Dad George. But I also saw someone I couldn't remember and wondered who she was. I suddenly remembered that she was my long-lost cousin named Paige. I really wanted to see her because I hadn't seen her in 6 years. I decided to get my money and buy a plane ticket first class to Sydney. Two days later, I went on a plane to Sydney and to visit my long-lost cousin named Paige. I'm a 22-year-old Richard. I made my money by playing the flute with famous orchestras. I learned to play the flute when I was 6 years old. I have always loved music. My entire family played instruments. We were a very musical family. And I was sad when my family mysteriously disappeared. When I got to Sydney, I began to search for my cousin. I was walking down a long road and I saw a big mansion. It was the same mansion I saw in the picture. I went up to the mansion and knocked on the door. A strange man answered the door. It was a butler. He had red hair, blue beard, a big mole with one very long hair sticking out of it. He was wearing a pink tuxedo and no shoes. The butler said, "May I help you?" Sophie nervously asked, "Does Paige Bloomberg live here?" "Yes, and I am her butler, William," he said. He then invited me into the mansion. I waited in the cold, dim entryway. There were many large portraits on all the walls. I realized that I was in the right place. I recognized my family in all the portraits. I even saw myself and my sister Jane. When I turned around, I was surprised to see Paige standing right behind me. She had yellow skin, blue shirt with a peace sign, and a pink and purple and red skirt. Paige said, "Are you Sophie?" While we ate dinner, I overheard Paige and William talking about some sort of plan that they had. They said they were going to kill me with a glass of poisoned milk. I excused myself from the table and went to my room so I could figure out what to do. I realized that I really needed to get out of this house. I really wanted to spend time with my cousin, but I really didn't trust her. I grabbed my suitcase and walked out of the room. I went downstairs and quietly walked to the front door. As I pulled on the door handle, I realized it was locked. I tried to stay calm and not freak out. I found another door and it was locked. I needed to get out of this mysterious mansion. I walked into the library and found an open window. This was my chance to escape. As it started to move toward the window, it closed and locked itself. I was worried I would never escape. I saw a shiny brass candlestick and tried to break the window. The glass shattered and sealed itself back together. Now I was scared. The doors to the library suddenly opened. I carefully walked to the doors. I saw bright and colorful lights and decided to walk toward the lights. I walked into a room that I had never seen before. It was an indoor swimming pool. The room had stained glass windows that went from the floor to the ceiling. The roof was also made of stained glass and lit in bright light and hundreds of colors. As I looked around the room, I noticed there were many tables and chairs. As soon as I walked in, the door slammed shut. Suddenly, a mist formed over the swimming pool. The mist grew into a fog, and all of a sudden, the tables and chairs were filled with people. I then realized that they were my dead relatives from the portraits in the main hall of the mansion. I turned to look over my shoulder and saw Paige and William. They were holding a glass of the poisoned milk.
Would you like some milk?
I stood still and my body froze. Paige and William inched toward me. I jumped into the pool to escape them. When I was underwater, I saw a golden key shining in the sunlight. I swam toward it and grabbed the key. I knew this had to be my way out of this horrible place. I leaped out of the pool and ran to the door. The key fit. The ghost of the family began to groan and chase me. Luckily, every time I got to the door, the key could unlock it. It turned out to be a skeleton key. I finally reached the front door. Paige appeared and said,
Wait!
I looked at her and said, Paige laughed.
How can we turn you into this? We just want to be a family.
Suddenly, my mother and Matilda appeared and said,
Listen, my darling. We want you to come home with us all in this beautiful mansion. The best part is you inherit the house and our entire family.
I didn't know what to say. I decided to live in the mysterious mansion, but I like to think of it as home. The end.